I didn't check the trunk because I didn't feel like I had to. That's what people never understand. Fear usually comes after the mistake. It was Friday in October, a little after 11, and I was leaving the library at Halden University. Halden was the kind of college with old stone buildings, trimmed lawns, and an emergency blue light phone every few hundred feet. That's why I kept telling myself I was overreacting. My ex, Tyler, had been texting me all evening from numbers I didn't recognize. He was saying stuff like, "We need to talk, you can't just erase me, I know what time you leave." That last one made me stop. Tyler and I had broken up 6 weeks earlier. At first, I told people he was struggling with it, that he had started appearing outside of buildings whenever I had class. He knew when I changed my cafe shifts. He once mentioned my roommate's car, even though I never told him where I lived. A week before that night, I noticed my spare keys were missing in the ceramic dish on my desk. I assumed my roommate Maya had borrowed it. Then we both forgot about it. The campus lot behind the science building was almost empty when I got there. My car sat under one of the only working lamps. 3 rows over, a dark SUV idled with its lights off. I saw it, but I didn't really see it. I got in, locked the doors, and reached into my bag. My laptop charger wasn't there. For a few seconds, I just stared at the empty pocket. Then, I pictured it still plugged into the outlet under the library table. The library was barely 2 minutes away. That was Halden. There was security, there were cameras, other students were nearby. So, I left my bag on the passenger seat, left the car unlocked, and ran back. My charger was exactly where I had left it. When I returned, the dark SUV was gone. Nothing about my car looked different. That is the sentence I still hate. Before I pulled out, a warning blinked on my dashboard. Wear a seatbelt. It flashed once, disappeared, and then flashed again. I turned around. The backseat was empty, except for a hoodie, a textbook, and all receipts on the floor. I told myself the sensor was just glitching. At the first speed bump, something thumped behind me. Not in the seat, lower, the trunk. I slowed down and glanced into the mirror. Nothing moved. At the second bump, the same heavy shift happened. Like something was sliding and catching itself. I turned the radio down. The car suddenly sounded too quiet. Then, I smelled Tyler's cologne. Only for a second. That sharp, clean scent he used to wear too much of. I told myself it was just memory, just stress, the kind of thing your brain invents when something has been haunting you all night. Then my phone buzzed in the cup holder. "Unknown number," said. "You always forget to check." I almost drove into the curb. I should have just gone to this police station. I know that now. But at the time, my mind kept searching for normal explanations. Maybe he was watching from campus. Maybe he saw me leave my charger. Maybe he meant my texts, my bag, my locks. Anything except my trunk. I called Maya, but it went to voicemail. She had left this afternoon to visit her parents and wasn't supposed to come back until Monday morning. Our house was a small off-campus rental, 10 minutes away, with a porch light that flickered in cold weather, and a front door that stuck unless you pulled it hard. I passed my street once, then I looped around a closed pharmacy and checked every mirror. No one followed me. So, I went home. I pulled into my driveway at 11:37 and sat there with both hands on the wheel. The car was silent. Then the trunk clicked. Just once. I turned my head slowly. The lid lifted maybe 2 inches. My hand came through the gap. I don't remember screaming. I remember trying to run and dropping my keys on the driveway. I remember Tyler saying my name like he'd been waiting to say it all night. Inside the house, everything came in flashes. The kitchen light, my shoulder hitting the wall, my phone sliding under the table, rainwater dripping from his sleeves onto the floor. He tied my wrist with a drawstring from Maya's laundry bag and sat me in the corner between the fridge and the pantry. There was duct tape on the counter, zip ties, my laptop charger coiled neatly beside his hand. He had not snapped. He had prepared. "I watched you for 3 Fridays," he said. "Same table, same lot, same mistake." I tried to talk to him like he was still the person I knew. I told him he could leave, and I would tell no one. I said we can call someone. He smiled, like I had misunderstood. "You don't get to move on," he said. "Not while I'm here." Saturday morning came with the sun peering through the blinds. I had not slept. Every time my eyes closed, Tyler snapped his fingers or kicked the cabinet beside me. He made coffee in our kitchen. He answered a text from Maya on my phone so she wouldn't worry. Then he turned the phone off and put it in his pocket. By noon, he moved me into the living room, away from the front windows. He closed the curtains and turned the TV on a low noise that could make the house look normal. Outside, life kept happening. A dog barked, a mailman truck stopped, a neighbor laughed somewhere down the street. Each sound lifted hope into my chest. Each time it collapsed. Saturday afternoon, someone knocked at the front door. For 1 second, Tyler looked more scared than I did. Then a voice called, "Package from Maya, signature required." Maya had ordered a tablet for school earlier the week. I remember her complaining that it needed to arrive before Monday because one of the classes was switching to digital notes. Tyler dragged me behind the counter and crouched in front of me. He whispered, "If you make a sound, I'm going after Maya too." Then a knock came again. "I can see the car in the driveway," the delivery driver said. I pushed my heel against the baseboard and kicked once. Not hard enough to sound like a scream, just enough to sound wrong. Tyler's eyes changed. He stood, walked to the door, and opened it only a few inches. "Sorry," he said, calmly as anything. "She's sick. I can sign for it." There was a pause. The driver said, "I thought I heard something." Tyler laughed softly. "TV is on." A few seconds later, I heard the beep of the signature pad. Then, the door shut. Tyler came in holding the box under one arm. He looked at the shipping label, then at me. "People don't check faces," he said. "They check boxes." That's what scared me the most. He wasn't panicked anymore. He was waiting. Around sunset, he told me Sunday night was when he was going to finish this. He said Maya always came back Monday before class, and that he would be gone by then. He said it calmly, like he was talking about the weather. That was when I stopped trying to convince him. There was no perfect sentence, no apology, no memory from our relationship that could turn him back into someone safe. There was only time. I worked at the knot whenever he left the room. I twisted my wrist until the skin burned. Once I felt the drawstring loosen, and for one bright second I thought I had a chance. Then, the floor creaked. Tyler was standing in the doorway, watching me. He had been listening the whole time. Saturday night, rain started tapping against the windows. Tyler went upstairs to check the bedrooms again. He was more nervous after dark, opening closets, looking at windows, touching the knife block. At 10:18, headlights swept across the curtains. A car pulled into the driveway. Tyler froze halfway down the stairs. The front door lock turned. Maya stepped in with a duffel bag, wet hair, and an annoyed look on her face. Later, she told the police that her parents had forgotten they were leaving for an anniversary trip. Their flight was Sunday morning, and they were driving to the airport hotel Saturday night, so she came back instead of sitting in the house alone. At that moment, all I knew was that she was home. Tyler rushed into the downstairs bathroom and pulled the door almost shut. Maya saw me on the floor. Her face changed so fast it broke my heart. I shook my head before she could scream. She set her bag down silently and moved toward me, eyes locked on the bathroom door. Her hands were shaking so bad, she could barely work the knot. The toilet flushed. Maya pulled hard. My hand came free. The bathroom door opened. For a half second, Tyler just stared at us. His face was empty. "Run," I whispered. Maya dragged me up. We crashed into the coffee table, knocked over a lamp, stumbled toward the front door, and then Tyler shouted out my name behind us. But it didn't sound like he was begging anymore. It sounded like ownership. We fell down the porch steps into the rain. Maya's car was still running. Headlights on, driver's door open. I slid across the passenger seat as Tyler reached the porch. His hand slapped the window as Maya reversed out onto the lawn and into the street. He chased us barefoot through the rain until the taillights swallowed him. We drove straight to the police station. They caught him the next afternoon at a motel 12 miles away. In his backpack, they found printed photos of my car, a notebook with my schedule written out for almost a month, and my missing spare house key. The camera from the science building showed him waiting in his dark SUV. It also showed exactly when he moved. 2 minutes. That's all it took. I had thought the safe part of my night was the campus, the lights, the routine, the expensive school, where all bad things were supposed to feel out of place. That was what he had counted on. He didn't need me to trust him anymore. He only needed me to trust the place. And for 2 minutes, I did.